I'm so excited to be here. Finally arrived here in the US and have my US debut. Firstly, I'd like to thank God for the opportunity for me to be able to live out my dreams. I'd like to thank Tom for giving me the opportunity to be here and showcase alongside these great champions. I'd also like to thank my team, Elvis Grant and Jimmy Montoya. I believe I've got the true OGs beside me, and we're here to take over the world. So, you know, I started this journey of boxing 4 years ago, and I really believe that boxing saved my life. I didn't have a lot. I just had me and my children, and not after my 6th fight, I was preparing for a world title fight at home in my garage to take on the Japanese superstar. So we went over there to Japan and caused a major upset and won the WBO championship, which I was super hyped and so happy. I worked really hard and worked hard for all that I had. You know, it was just a small garage, but we did what we needed to do and got the job done. And now I'm finally here and arrived here, which has been a dream for me, just to get over here and showcase my skills alongside other champions. And I really believe that women's boxing hasn't really deserved the respect that we need and that we deserve. We work just as hard as the men. So, you know, I think that God's given me this gift, and I'm here to open up the doorways for a lot of other women, a lot of younger women coming up and coming through, and hopefully be an inspiration to them. Peter Nelson, hope you're listening. I'm just so blessed to be here today, and I'm so excited, and I've got a lot to give, and I just can't wait to show you what I have, and I just want to thank God for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Louisa. Make sure you get a chance to talk to her directly afterwards. Louisa has a tremendous story from Australia. Like she said, she went to Japan, beat the WBO champion in a major upset. For her, I'm sure she was confident and her team was confident. Having Elvis Grant and Jimmy Montoya in her corner, like she said, there's the two OGs. Elvis might be a little bit older than Jimmy, but a lot of experience in that corner. But Louisa has a tremendous personality, very magnetic, and I know she's going to put on a great fight on the show. The door's open, just to get back to the form. The doors open at 3 o'clock. The terrace actually opens at 3 o'clock. There's a lot of people who like to come out to the forum, get there early, like to go tailgating. The terrace will be open at 3 o'clock. The doors open at 3:30. First fight should be about 3:45. So we stress everyone should come early. The last Superfly show, it was packed from the first fights because they knew the undercard fighters would be very exciting. Pedro Duran, from locally here from Paramount, California, he's also with Zanfer. He sold a tremendous amount of tickets locally, so I know he'll have a lot of fans there. And Louisa she's come all the way from Australia to put on a tremendous show for everyone. I'd like to thank our sponsors. As I mentioned before, Tecate. The Tecate Terrace at the Forum will be opened up at 3 o'clock. The Tecate girls will be there, and the Tecate beer will be there. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. And as Peter alluded to, you know, our partners at the Forum and MSG, Joel Fisher, Sal Federico, who's here, someone in the crowd, he flew in from New York, landed today. Nick Stampanato at the Forum, Jenny Lincoln. We really appreciate all their support. This is a great venue, and again, when we can open up, our goal was to open up the upper level, and it's going to be like a soccer atmosphere in there on Saturday night with all the flags from the international fighters. I'd like to just, since this is our first show, I'd like to thank a few people on my side. First and foremost, Erica St. Philip, who's back there. Erica's been my right-hand person really since we did the very first show in 2004 when Vitaly Klitschko won the WBC Heavyweight Championship at Staples Center. So she's been with us. Roy Engelbrecht, Torsten Meyer, Alyssa Moskal, Bernie Barmasal, Ricardo Jimenez doing the publicity, Mike Stiles doing the social media, Alan Gomez is helping, Roy Engelbrecht, everyone, I couldn't do it without a tremendous team behind us. And as Peter mentioned, this show only comes about not only with the fighters wanting to fight each other, but with the promoters willing to put the fighters they represent in with each other. I think, again, this is a show where I'm working with 7 or 8 promoters with different fighters, but it's everyone working together for the betterment of the sport of boxing and to put on a great show for the fans. We had a tremendous year, 2018, for boxing, and starting 2018 with a show like this, it's just a big statement that 2018 will be a tremendous year. And then also, naturally, the Cinco de Mayo fight coming up. We officially announced to Las Vegas for that fight. So with Triple G and Canelo. With that, I'd like to bring up. Getting into our World Championship fights. This gentleman comes all the way from Ukraine. When I tell you the amount of work that we did, the number of visas we needed to get for this show, not only for the fighters, but for their corners, for their managers, for the promoters, for their sponsors, and then all with coordination with the international television. We have 3 channels, if you can believe it, 3 channels in the Philippines showing fights on this show. We have 3 channels in Mexico showing the fights of this show. We have 2 channels in Argentina. We have Ukraine naturally showing the fight. Japan is showing the fight, and a tremendous number of international territories showing the fight. So it just shows how popular these World Championship fights are, and these guys and girls bring back the true definition of world champions. So I'd like to bring up undefeated. I know a few things about working with Ukrainian fighters. I've represented a couple of Ukrainian heavyweights, the Klitschko brothers and Alexander Usyk, the tremendous cruiserweight talent from Ukraine. I've worked with all of them, so we're excited to have undefeated 15-0 Artem Dalakian, all the way from Ukraine, to come up to say a few words, as well as Dmitry Yeliseyev to represent Union Box Promotion.
Thank you. Good day, everybody. I'm glad to see you here. I'm happy to be here. Many thanks for Tom and his team who invitation for us for our fight, and we're very glad to see you again. I am representative Union Boxing Promotion. It's a nationality Ukrainian boxing team, and our boxer Artem Dalakian. He's very young, very strong, very imposant, and very brave boxer. I think in the Saturday we show big big fight between Brian Villoria and Artem Dalakian. It's a vacant title. It's for us. It's a very great fight. Artem went for that fight all his sports life, and I think it's a show will be as a fun and beautiful fight will be for us. Thank you, Artem. Нет,
Я рад, что я приехал сюда, в Америку, в Лос-Анджелес, и у нас здесь состоится бой с Брайаном Вилорио, и я думаю, что он захочет показать хороший бокс, и я думаю, что это все получится у нас.
I'm very glad to come to the American, and I think it will be a great fight, and Brian Deloria and me will make a great fight, and Brian and me make everything but for the win.
Что я могу сказать за себя? Я готовился к этому бою, грубо говоря, всю свою жизнь, и мы к этому и шли. И я думаю, что каждый боксер, который профессионально боксирует, хочет боксировать за звание чемпиона мира, и мне пришлось как бы к этому идти. Я тоже хотел к этому, пришел к этому, и я буду боксировать за звание чемпиона мира, и покажу хороший бокс, и стану чемпионом мира, и отвезу пояс в Украину.
I and my company go with to that fight 15 years. I make everything for that, for winning this fight. I think I take the belt and go to the Ukraine and bring this belt in Ukraine.
Мы покажем хороший бокс, приходите, смотрите на бокс, и мои болельщики, что меня поддержали, спасибо ему огромное, и что желаю, чтобы понравился хороший бокс, и хороший бой мы показали.
We show good fight, and please come in and fun it for us, and we show good fight.
Спасибо большое.
Many thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Artem and Dmitry. Again, that just gives you first taste of the international flavor of this show. Again, Artem and Brian Deloria are fighting for the vacant WBA flyweight title. They're rated #1 and 2, the top in their divisions, so it's going to be a tremendous fight. Don't forget to tune into Ring TV for that fight. With that, I'd like to bring up someone who's really a fan favorite, a local favorite. A lot of people bought tickets specifically just to fight, to see Brian Deloria. I've known Brian for a long time. He's been on a number of our shows. I've known his manager, Gary Gittleson, for a number of years, so we're excited to have Brian on the show. And you know, Brian is the only active member of the 2000 U.S. Olympic team. So it shows you how many, 18 years Brian's been fighting now professionally, and he's achieved so much in his career. If he wins Saturday night, he'll be a 5-time world champion, which is a huge statement in the sport of boxing. So with that, I'd like to bring up Gary Gittleson, who can introduce Brian Deloria.
Thank you, Tom. It's really a great pleasure to be here, to have this opportunity. I want to thank Tom Loeffler, first of all. I've worked with every promoter in boxing currently in business, and many promoters who are no longer in business. But Tom has put together something special. He has a terrific staff. Every question I have is promptly answered, courteously answered. I'm not used to that. But I am so glad for his success. I want to also thank Peter Nelson and HBO for having the vision to explore these lighter weight divisions. I can tell you that before Peter Nelson was president of HBO Sports, I sat in his predecessor's office begging them to feature these lighter weight fighters. I knew they gave honest accounts of themselves every time they got in the ring. I watched it, I loved them as a sports fan, but I couldn't get their attention. And it wasn't any, I don't know what the reason was. I remember his predecessors saying to me, you know, Gary, I'm like a air traffic controller. I've got a lot of wide bodies that have to come in, and I have to have the smaller plane circle. It was a good analogy, but I left with my head in my hands. Peter and his staff have opened up this division for the fans, and I think what Tom and Peter have created here is extraordinary. It wasn't always like this. The first Superfly event, which Brian headlined against Tyson Marquez a little over 5 years ago at the LA Sports Arena on a rainy November night, where the undercard fight, believe it or not, was Chocolatito against Estrada. I think there were more people in the room here than there were at that fight. But that was they were 2 Fight of the Year candidates. Well, Peter obviously did his homework and saw that this is great entertainment, and what is being built here is just fantastic, and I'm thrilled. There are more world champions in this room. The only time I see world champions of this stature and this number is at a Hall of Fame ceremony. I mean, you have Diego Higa, who is a walking celebrity in Japan. You have Fuji TV here. As Tom said, we have 3 networks in the Philippines. We've got Argentine television. It's amazing, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of this. Brian Valoria, as many of you know, is like a son to me. 18 years ago, he came and lived in my house. He was really a boy from Hawaii who never left the island except for his international amateur experience. And he lived with me in my home for 6 months before we kind of kicked him out of the nest so he'd get his own apartment. And here we are, jump cut, fast forward, 18 years later, he's a 4-time world champion, on this card fighting for his 5th world title. I like his chances very much. I think you're going to be treated to something very, very special, and that's before the televised HBO card. So I want to introduce Brian. He is really a special guy, a special athlete, and he's going to give you a very special performance on Saturday night. Brian?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank God for giving me the strength and the opportunity to be still competing at this level in my career. 18 years in boxing it's been a long time. I feel like, but you know, I feel like I'm still 21. I feel like I just, I can do this forever. But I know that I wouldn't be, and I'm so knowing that. I'm taking every fight like it's my last fight. This fight is for my 5th world title. I'm taking I've never trained harder ever than I did in this last camp. I also want to say thank you to Tom Loeffler, putting a great card. I was fortunate enough to be on the first card, which saw great fights, and I hope this is going to live up to that, which I know is going to live up to that. Looking at all these world champions on the table and the dais with us. I want to thank my promotion Taken and Mr. Honda for giving me this opportunity to fight on this wonderful card. Everyone that's out here, the press that's giving us the limelight and the opportunity to be fighting in front of you guys and to write about us, and Peter Nelson, who finally given our weight divisions the big stage that I thought we deserved for many, many years. Thank you so much, Peter. And I trained really hard for this fight. My last couple fights, I know I looked at it. I know I could have done a lot better, and I know I'm able to do a lot better. And so in this fight, I know I'm fighting for my 5th world title. I've trained my ass off. I've trained like I've never trained before, and incorporated a lot of things in my training sessions that I've never done, like I've done in my last fight. But I, just tweaked up a lot of things that I know was gonna have me perform at my peak performance. And I know that come Saturday, I'm gonna try my best. I know I'm gonna perform to the best of my ability and show to everyone in the world that I'm still a world champion. Thank you everybody for coming out, and hope you guys see you guys on Saturday, and let's go.
Thank you, Brian. For those of you who've seen the videos, Brian's the not only going for his 5th world title, but I think is the undefeated jump rope champion. The display that he put on at the media training is tremendous. So again, we'd like to thank Union Box Promotion and Mr. Honda at Taken Promotions for really their assistance in putting this fight together. Now, before we get to the HBO fights, I'd like to bring up someone who's prominently featured on the undercard. He sold a tremendous amount of tickets. He's locally here from Southern California. I'd like to proudly bring up Mario Ramos. Mario has the ability to fight in an arena like the Forum. He's going to be the first fight of the night. His fight will be at 3:45, so make sure everyone gets there to see Mario. And like I said, he'll have a big rooting section already because he sold a tremendous amount of tickets. Thank you, Mario.
I want to thank 360 Promotion and Roy for giving me this opportunity to show who I am. And I want to thank all my sponsors, my managers, my coaches, my family for giving me all the support I need. And I know I'm the first fight, and just don't miss it. You guys don't want to miss it. Thank you.
The guys here on the dais, that's really what inspires fighters like Mario. So you have, he has the opportunity again to fight in a big venue like the Forum and on an HBO type of show. It's just, I think those are the type of opportunities that inspire him. And you know, he's one of those guys, up and coming guys, that really does his homework, markets himself, and again, we can't thank him enough for really supporting the promotion, selling tickets locally, and we're excited to feature Mario Ramos. With that, I'd like to get into the HBO portion. I mean, we've seen so many world champions already. Now we're just starting with the first fight of the HBO triple header. This is for the flyweight IBF World Championship of the World. Donnie Nietes, who's also had a tremendous career, many world title fights. Donnie Nietes has headlined as the main event twice here in the LA area at the StubHub Center. Now he's the first fight on the HBO broadcast. Again, this is one of those opportunities that Donnie has to be on the big stage, to be on HBO. It's really every fighter's dream, especially in these lighter divisions that really don't get the opportunities that the heavier divisions get. So I know Donnie is really looking forward to his HBO debut, and we're looking forward to having him on the show. With that, I'd like to bring up someone, so he's the mandatory challenger. Again, these are top 5 guys fighting each other in the, if not the 2 top fighters in the flyweight division. It's just again, you know, highlighting the international flavor of the show. A longtime friend of mine, Osvaldo Rivera, he's the promoter for Juan Carlos Rebeco. Juan Carlos, again, when I talk about visas, you know, it's one of those things. He's coming from Argentina, he's bringing his team in from Argentina, and we're working on visas, and I think he finally got the visas last Thursday or Friday of last week. So, you know, it's one of those things when you put on a show like this with so many international fighters, you're never quite sure when they're going to show up. So, or when they're going to get approved for their visas. With that, I'd like to bring up, representing Osvaldo Rivera, his son, Sebastian Rivero, who can introduce Juan Carlos Rebeco.
Hello everyone, I would like to say thanks you all and welcome you. I'm here in representation of my new company. It's such a new company like 360 Promotion KO International. We made this company with my sisters, Natalia Rivero, that could not be here because he's with my nephew in the room, and Georgina Rivero, that is in Argentina. We are following the work of our father for the last 30 years, the man standing there with the glasses, Osvaldo Rivero. I would like to thank all the team, Ariel Cuello, Mario Cosolino, Ernesto Naveira, Tomás Tosto Valenzuela, everyone here. I would like to thank, of course, Tom for the opportunity, for the kindly treatment, and all his company, 360 Promotion, Thorsten, Roy, Bernie. Believe me, this is great people. They don't left anything left to chance. They are very professional. We feel really comfortable and secure to work with them. I would like to thank Mr. Peter Lenson for this opportunity, and congratulations for building this kind of event with such of this kind of boxers, like Mr. Representative of Ryan Villainfy said. Nobody take this division on count, and now with you, this is really, really important, and it has the importance that they deserve. So, well, thank you everyone. I would like to introduce Juan Carlos and thank him also because of the trust for all these years and work with us all these years.
Bueno, a mí, yo soy Roeco, para muchos, obviamente acá en Estados Unidos desconocido. Para mí es un placer y un gusto estar en esta cartelera tan hermosa, donde están todos los mejores moscas, yo me incluyo ahí. Así que la verdad muy contento y la verdad que feliz de estar acá. Hemos laburado durísimo con el equipo durante 2 meses. Así que bueno, obviamente que vengo con toda la expectativa de ser el campeón nuevamente del mundo.
Thanks. First of all, I would like to thank you everyone and welcome. My name is Juan Carlos Rebeco, for anybody that does not know me. I'm really glad to be here, very happy to be here with the world best boxers in my division. I work hard to be here. It's my dream to fight. It was my dream to fight in this place since I was young. And thanks again. I'm really, really happy.
Así que bueno, nuevamente muchísimas gracias por abrirme las puertas y bueno, que Dios los bendiga a todos.
First, once again, thank you all. Thank you for opening the door for me, and God bless you all.
Thanks, Juan Carlos and Sebastian. Juan Carlos is a two-time world champion, and he's the mandatory challenger for Donnie Nieto. So this is definitely going to be a great fight to start off the night. Again, you know, any one of these fights can be a candidate for Fight of the Year, and we really expect a lot of fireworks coming out of the gate. This is the first fight of the triple header on HBO. The telecast starts at 9:30 East Coast time, 6:30 here locally in Los Angeles. So for those people that can't make it to the forum, make sure to tune into HBO at 6:30 here on the West Coast. With that, I alluded to you know, Donnie Nieta's headlining fights before here, 2 shows in the LA area, and now he's the opening fight. He's finally getting his big opportunity to fight on HBO, and I know Donnie is very excited, very proud to have the opportunity to fight on HBO. I want to bring up from ALA Promotions, ALA Promotions, to introduce Donnie, Peter Buzingi.
Thank you very much, Tom, and thank you, Peter, for making this possible. On behalf of Michael Aldeguer's ALA Promotions International, it is my privilege to introduce to you today one of the best boxers the Philippines has ever produced, certainly one of the best pound-for-pound boxers, champion at 105, 108, and 112, and certainly one person that can take on a fight given 1 month's notice. That's how disciplined he is. Ladies and gentlemen, he is, bar none, the longest reigning Filipino world boxing champion. 10 years and still counting. Ladies and gentlemen, Donnie Ahas the Snake Nietes.
Good afternoon to I would like to thank the MSCBM and the ALA Promotion, 360 Promotion at HBO. Medyo matagal-tagal ko na din hihintay na laban ito. So ngayon, excited na talaga ako makipaglaban. Watch out na lang kayo kung paano ko siya tutuklawin ng ahas this coming Saturday. So ibigay ko talaga yung best fight ko na masaya na yung mga tao sa panood. Thank you so much.
I've been waiting for this fight for a very long time, and watch out because the snake is gonna strike. Thank you very much. Donnie Nieves.
I tell you, Peter, with that introduction, you might give Michael Buffer a run for his money. We're excited to have Donnie on the show. As Peter mentioned, the longest reigning Filipino world champion in boxing history. I mean, that's a great way to start out this HBO telecast. We know there's going to be a tremendous amount of Filipino fans supporting both Donnie and Brian Valoria. The Filipino media is here to cover both fighters, and I know it's going to be, they're going to put on a great show for the fans. Now to get into the co-feature, I'd like to bring in also someone that I've known for a long time, a good friend of mine who's very easy to deal with, who made the fight for McWilliam to fight Chocolatito before. He's been on the big stage. Now he's challenging for the vacant WBC silver title. If McWilliams can win that fight, he's right back in the mix for a world title fight. To introduce McWilliams Arroyo, who is part of the Puerto Rican Olympic team, I'd like to bring up Peter Rivera of PR Best.
Hi everybody. First of all, I want to thank all the press for being here today and cover this incredible event. Also, I want to thank Tom offered to give it to us all the time opportunities to work together. He and his whole team are great people to work, very professional people. Also, I want to thank my friend Peter Nelson to give it to all these Puerto Rican fighters opportunities on HBO. And of course to McWilliam Arroyo. As everybody know, Puerto Rico and Mexico always bring great fights. And I know that Cuadras and Arroyo will be part of that history, and of course will be an incredible and good fight. As everybody know, McWilliam have an incredible amateur career. He have a great fight against Chocolatito, and I know that next Saturday, you know, will be another great fight against Cuadra. We are very sure that we're going to win this fight. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in him, and we're looking to continue working together with Tom and HBO, and because we know that a win on Saturday will give it to us an opportunity for a world title fight. So now I want to introduce you, McWilliam Arroyo. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to thank God for permitting all of us being here today. I want to thank all the boxers here today. Peter Nelson of HBO, thank you for this great opportunity. Tom Lawford, thank you once again. You know, I've been training really hard. I want to thank my trainer that's been with me from day one, Antonio Otero. Peter Rivera has been with me all my pro career. I want to thank my family. And you know, I've been training very hard. I know Carlos Cuadra says he's gonna win, and I'm most definitely ready. So come Saturday night, you're gonna see a war, and you better be prepared. All right, thank you, bye.
This is one of those fights. It's for the vacant WBC silver title, but I think whenever you have great representative of Puerto Rico against a great representative of Mexico, you have that national rivalry. It seems like everyone, that competes on that stage really brings something extra to the game. So it's going to be a lot of fireworks in this fight. This is the co-feature of the night. I'd like to bring up someone now that he's training with Abel Sanchez up at the summit in Big Bear, California. It's not very easy to train up there. Very harsh conditions with the high altitude, with the snow they've had up there recently. It seems like Abel's going to bring Carlos Cuadras to a whole different level. And he doesn't get any easy fights on HBO. Having to fight with William Arroyo is not easy at all. So we're looking forward to a lot of fireworks in this co-feature. I'd like to bring up Carlos El Principe Cuadras.
¿Qué tal todos? Buenas tardes. Quiero agradecer a 360 Promotions, a Tom Loeffler y a HBO y a todos los que me brindan esta oportunidad nuevamente.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'd like to thank Tom Loeffler, 360 Promotions, Peter Nelson, to everyone that's given me this opportunity.
Bueno, y pues quiero que sepan que ahora vengo mejor preparado que la pelea pasada. Hice una gran preparación, muy motivado, ahora con Abel Sánchez, compartiendo gimnasio con Gennady Golovkin, y creo que eso es un plus para mí que me da para esta pelea.
I'd like to tell you that I'm in great shape, better than the last fight. I trained up there with Abel Sanchez and with Triple G Golovkin, so I'm looking forward to showing you what I learned up there.
Bueno, pues quiero que sepan que voy a entregar lo mejor de mí. En esta pelea voy a darlo todo. Quiero volver a ser campeón. Ese cinturón plateado, verde con plateado, se va a quedar conmigo. Y después vamos por el dorado que tiene aquí Sri Saket. Y después, primero lo primero. Y pues voy a enfrentarme a Arroyo y voy a arrollar a Arroyo.
I'd like to tell you that I'm going to be well prepared for this fight. I'm looking forward to winning that silver belt, because the gold one is next. The one is sitting right here, and I'm looking forward to facing Arroyo.
Bueno, pues solo esperen la pelea, no se la pierdan. Va a ser una pelea muy buena, muy fuerte. Arroyo es un gran guerrero y creo que va a ser una de las mejores peleas de la noche. Entonces, esténse bien pendientes porque aquí traigo su medicina de Big Bear Shape para Arroyo. Muchas gracias.
You know that I'm ready to win. I have his medicine right here on my right fist. I'm going to give my all. Right now you're going to see a great fight.
And Carlos is very, very handsome.
I'm very, very handsome.
There you go. That's what we're waiting for. So with that, we get to the main event.
The next king.
We get to the main event here. Not only is it for the WBC Super Flyweight Championship, the top two guys in the division fighting against each other, two guys that have proven their mettle in championship caliber. Before we get to the combatants, I'd like to bring up the editor of Ring Magazine. This will be for the vacant Ring Magazine Super Flyweight Championship, Doug Fisher.
Everybody, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to be quick about this, like the fighters have been. Put the belt right here. But like Mr. Loeffler said, and by the way, I want to give a special thanks to you, Tom, and to Peter for showcasing one of the deepest and most competitive divisions in all of boxing to an American audience. It's great for fight fans, hardcore fight fans, and casual fans, and it's great for these fighters because, as Mr. Loeffler has noted, these guys fight each other. The best fight the best. That's what we have with this entire card. That's what we definitely have with this main event between Mr. Rungvisai and Mr. Estrada. These guys have been world class for several years. The first time I got a look at Mr. Estrada was at that 2012 card at the Sports Arena where Brian Valoria was the main event, and he put on a sensational show against Tyson Marquez. The co-featured bout was an unknown Estrada taking on Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, when Gonzalez was 32-0 and at the peak of his physical prowess, in my humble opinion, at his best weight, which was 108 pounds, and Estrada proved to the world that he was an elite boxing talent. He has an amazing style. He is a complete fighter. He is a boxer puncher. He is a technician. And against Rungvisai, he's fighting a crusher. He's fighting a kind of guy that can impose his will on any style. And once again, these men have been on the championship level since 2013. So Rungvisai beat a Japanese fighter named Yota Sato in May of 2013. Sato was Ring Magazine's #2 super flyweight contender at that time. And Estrada, that same year, as a matter of fact, right around the same time, he traveled to Macau and he beat Brian Viloria for 2 flyweight world titles. If you can beat Brian Viloria at flyweight, you're the real deal. So Estrada's the real deal at flyweight, and he proved he's the real deal at 115 pounds because he narrowly outpointed Mr. Cuadras over here. If you can beat Carlos Cuadras at super flyweight, you're the real deal. And obviously, Rungvisai, 2 victories over one of my favorite fighters of all time, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Special note of appreciation to our good friends at the WBC for recognizing that Rungvisai was worthy at another crack at their green belt at 115 pounds with that first fight with Gonzalez. For also recognizing the controversial nature of the first fight, the Fight of the Year candidate, and mandating that rematch, which gave us a Knockout of the Year candidate. Totally broke my heart because I love Chocolatito, but the way that Rungvisai beat Chocolatito, it let us know that he's truly special, and he's the boss right now. But the winner of Saturday's main event is truly a champion, with the monster Naoya Inoue making his move up to bantamweight and probably heavier. These guys are the #1 and #2 fighters at 115 pounds. They're the 2 best super flyweights in the world. When the best fight the best, the Ring Magazine Championship must be on the line. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Doug. Doug is a boxing historian. He knows all that off the top of his head. Very deep boxing knowledge, and just extra, if it's not enough incentive to be the main event on HBO, defending the WBC Super Flyweight Championship at the Forum, a little extra incentive getting the Ring Magazine title as well. So with that, I know everyone's waiting to see the main event fighters come up here. This is what we've all been waiting for. It seems like everything is culminating now. All the fighters are here for Fight Week. I'd like to bring up, first I'd like to thank Zamfir Promotions. We have a good relationship with everyone at Zamfir. They're good to work with. Juan Carlos Torres, naturally Fernando Beltran. And I'd like to bring up the manager of Juan Francisco Estrada. I'd like to bring up Juan Hernandez to say a few words and then to introduce El Gallo.
Thank you, Tom. I want to start by thanking HBO and Peter Nelson for supporting the Superfly series. A lot of times the fights between the small fighters don't get a lot of visibility or credit, and they end up being some of the best fights, like the card where Estrada fought Chocolatito back in 2012. So I'm really appreciative towards HBO and Peter. I want to thank Tom and his team at 360. Like everybody says, Tom is really a pleasure to work with. Tom's actually such a good promoter. He makes me almost root for Golovkin, but I think I have to go with the Mexican. I want to thank our partners in Estrada's career, Zamfir Promotions and Fernando Beltran, my partner and very good friend, probably Mexico's greatest promoter ever. We're very proud to represent Box Azteca from Mexico, the biggest boxing network in Mexico. We're really appreciative also to the Mexican media who came to cover the fight. I also want to thank Estrada's trainers who actually always make sure he shows up in tip-top shape. Jose Alfredo Caballero, his head trainer, the brothers Germán and Freddy León. They're, in my opinion, the best trainers out of Mexico. They also train Miguel Berchet, who's also here. I also want to mention, like Tom did, Pete Duran with Promociones Soccer. He's one of the best prospects, I think, in all of the sport. He's undefeated and has a terrific style, so his fight's going to be really good. And just before I introduce Estrada, I want to tell you guys a quick story about this fight. It's actually an interesting coincidence. The fight takes place on February the 24th. And February the 24th, when Estrada was 7 years old, is actually when his mom passed away from leukemia. So he's actually fighting in honor of his mom's passing. Years after that, a few years after that, his dad passed away in a scuba diving accident. And him and his siblings were taken in by his aunt Lupita, who became their adoptive mother, so to speak. And nobody really knows, but a few months or 3 months before the Chocolatito Gonzalez fight, his aunt Lupita was hit by a car and killed in a hit and run accident that the car drove away and they never found the person. 3 months after that, Estrada went up and went to war with Gonzalez. He's actually the person that has been hit the hardest in life that I know, and he just gets tougher after everything that happens to him. So he's actually fighting in honor of his parents and his aunt, and I'm very proud for him for where he is. He's pretty much made it to the top of the sport. He's fighting in LA, one of the biggest boxing cities, on HBO, the biggest boxing network, for the WBC title, the Ring Magazine title. I'm extremely proud of him for the kid he is. When he won his belts against Veloria, in his hometown, they actually had a little one-man parade. They had him sit on top of a fire truck with the sirens going, and they take him all around town. I think if he wins on Saturday, there's probably going to be another one-man parade. So let me introduce to you guys the pride of Puerto Peñasco, Juan Francisco El Gallo Estrada.
Buenas tardes a todos. Estoy muy contento y agradecido con todos y cada uno de ustedes por estar aquí, y pues también agradecer a Juan Hernández, mi promotor de Latin Sport, a mi equipo, a mi entrenador Alfredo Caballero y a HBO, a todos lo que hacen posible esta cartelera, y pues vengo muy motivado, muy concentrado para esta pelea, ya que quiero pues ganar este cinturón.
Good afternoon to everyone. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to also thank the promoters, my promoter, Latin Sports, Peter Nelson, HBO, Tom Loeffler for giving me this opportunity.
También agradecer al equipo de Rungvisai por la oportunidad que nos ganamos y pues que me permiten ahora pelear este sábado con él. Yo creo que va a ser una pelea muy buena para todos ustedes y pues que ojalá la disfruten, y pues yo tengo que ganar porque para mí esta pelea es de honor y gloria.
You know, I want to thank also Team Rungvisai for giving me the opportunity. I know I earned that opportunity, but they don't always get it, and he's given it to me. And I also, you know, it's going to be a great fight. I come to win. There's no second thing about here. It's win or win. And I know this is a fight that will put me at another level.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan Francisco, and thank you, Juan, for shedding light on, you know, Juan Francisco's history, his family history. You know, these are the opportunities that the sport of boxing really affords to fighters. You know, going through adverse circumstances, but if you become a world champion, if you can fight on HBO, fight in venues like the Forum, it really takes your career to another level. You know, and it's a tremendous story. I know Sister Ket Rungvisai last year had a whirlwind year. He fought Chocolatito twice. The WBC mandated the rematch. The first fight was somewhat controversial, but in the rematch, Sister Ket left no doubt who the champion was with a tremendous knockout, one of the candidates for knockout of the year. Sister Ket also came from very humble beginnings. He's now a national hero for his country of Thailand. He's become well known here in the United States, being on HBO pay-per-view headlining an HBO show and now headlining his second HBO show as WBC Super Flyweight Champion. So with that, I'd like to bring up Bank, who has been a tremendous help in putting these fights together with Sister Ket. Bank represents Nakorlong Promotions. The fight will also be shown in Thailand. So to say a few words and to give the background of Sister Ket like nobody else can, I'd like to bring up Bank.
Thank you so much, Tom. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Nakorlong Promotion, I would like to say that it's a great honor for us and for Sisake to be here in the US fighting on HBO for the third time. We had a really great year last year, 2017, and we were extremely excited for 2018. We are very proud of what Sisake, my friend, had done last year. We are very excited for this year, but I have to say thank you to a few people, a few groups of people that really gave us the opportunity to be here today. So first of all, WBC and President Mauricio Sulaiman, who supported us from the very first day. WBC has been a great support for us in getting the fight with Chocolatito. So without WBC, we would not be here today. So thank you so much, WBC and President Mauricio. Second, HBO and Peter Nielsen. Before the first fight with Chocolatito, I know that it would be really difficult to match up Sisake against Chocolatito, who was the #1 pound for pound in the world. Because here in the US and most of the parts in the world, people do not really know. People did not really know who Sisake was. People did not really know what he was capable of. But Peter had faith in us and had trust in us, and he gave us the opportunity to fight Chocolatito. So for that, we are very grateful and we are really appreciative for what HBO and Peter has done to us. So thank you so much, HBO and Peter. And third, Tom and 360 Promotion. From the very first day that we came here to the US on the first fight, we were an unknown challenger. But Tom and his team treated us like champions from the very first day when we were challenger. And for that, we are extremely grateful for them. And also, I would like to recognize our biggest supporter, M150. They have been with us for the very beginning. They supported Sisake from the very beginning of his career. So without M150, Sisake would not be boxing at all. So thank you so much, M150. So I would like to say that 1 year ago, I was at the press conference in Madison Square Garden. I was talking about before the first fight of Sisake versus Chocolatito. And I was saying that it would be a great fight. Sisake would give the people, the fans, a really good fight. It could be a potential fight of the year. But I knew that most people did not take me seriously, and maybe rightly so, because they have not seen what Sisake was capable of. But I was very serious back then. I was very serious because I knew that my friend right here could make the impossibilities possible so many times in his life. Only a little more than a decade ago, he was a trash collector. He was eating trash to survive. Most people said that he would not become anything but a trash collector. But then he turned his life around, he became a boxer. But then he won only 1 out of his first 5 fights, and he lost most of them. And people said that he could not become a good fighter. But then after that, he won all of his fights, 7 straight 17 wins, all by knockouts, and become the world champion for the first time. And when he got matched up with Chocolatito, most people said that he got no chance. The odds for that fight was 14-1. So basically it was almost 0 chance for him. But he shocked the world. He beat the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world twice. So I really don't think that is it. I don't think that is a ceiling for him. I don't think that there is anything that is impossible for him. So on Saturday night, we know that El Gallo Estrada is a great fighter. We are not taking him lightly. And that's why we are so excited for Saturday night, because it will be such a great fight. But we are confident, we are very confident that Sisake will come out as a winner again, because this time Sisake is not fighting alone anymore. He he has the whole nation of Thailand behind him. All the Thai people are supporting him. And he's not only fighting for himself, he's not only fighting for his family anymore. He's fighting for the whole nation of Thailand. So I'm very confident that on Saturday night, Thailand will celebrate. On Saturday night, all the Sisaket fans from all around the world will celebrate. So for that, I would like to invite my friend Sisaket Rungvisai to the podium. He might not say much because normally I do all the talking and he does all the punching people in the face. And that's how we roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you your reigning and defending champion of the world from Thailand, Sisaket Rungvisai.
ขอบคุณ SBO แล้วก็ UC มันฟันเนโต้เอสโก้เอสตาด้าผมก็ดูศึกษาเทปมาตลอดก็เป็นมวยที่แข่งอึดทนและแข็งแรงครับผมแล้วก็ผมไฟนี่มันเป็นไฟที่ยิ่งใหญ่แล้วก็เป็นไฟสำคัญของผมก็จะผ่านมันไปให้ได้ครับผมสุดท้ายนี้ผมก็ขอฝากพี่น้องชาวไทยที่อยู่อเมริกาช่วยมาเชียร์ผมเยอะๆด้วยนะครับก็ขอฝากพี่น้องชาวไทยที่อยู่เมืองไทยช่วยเชียร์แล้วก็เป็นกำลังใจให้ผมด้วยนะครับขอบคุณมากครับ
I would like to thank HBO 360 Promotion and WBC for this opportunity. I have been studying Estrada a lot, and I know that he's a very good fighter. But I'm very well prepared, and I'm very confident that I will win again in this fight. So I would like to invite all the Thais in LA and in the US to come to the fight and support me. And I also would like all the fans in Thailand, outside Thailand, to watch this fight and support me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, gentlemen. Main event, please. Aquí, por favor. Acá, Juan. Juan. Gracias. Más cerca. Thank you. We'll get all 8 fighters signed. Down here, please. Everybody look down here. It's your time. Right here. Down here. Yep. Mario. Where's Mario? Right here. Stop, please. Good job. Yep. Thank you, everyone.